people have asked, you know, like how Guns N' Roses got our sound. It really wasn't anything that was sort of preconceived at all. You know, Slash had a really dense Les Paul, Marshall sound to his guitar, and Izzy would play through hollow bodies and kind of play more like kind of Keith Richards parts, which just happened to perfectly complement what Slash was playing, and vice versa. Steven came into the band, he had double kick drum, drum kit, and a ton of rack toms, and a ton of cymbals, and like your typical Southern California heavy metal dude drum kit. And that wasn't going to work. You know, it was just too many fucking drums. And so it's kind of classic. Izzy and I started to steal Steven's drums and hide them. And it finally ended up, he had one kick, a snare, no rack toms. He had one floor tom, a ride, a crash, and a hi-hat. Like a typical Ramones kit. And that forced Steven to really sort of just sink into the groove of a song without too many extra flourishes. It's pretty obvious that we let Steven keep the cowbell. We didn't hide that from him. And then, you know, the bass playing and the bass writing on all of that was really just a serious nod to things like Sly and the Family Stone and Prince and Cameo, because somewhere in there, if I were to be sort of just playing single note, basic, you know, pads for a song, it would have just been too dense. And so I just sort of naturally found this kind of groovy, funky place somewhere in the middle of all that. And the way that Slash and I play off of each other has become kind of a thing. And he and I never actually even talk about it. He'll come up with a riff, or I'll come up with a riff. And we might both lay into that riff and play exactly the same thing, even like fills coming down off of the riff into a verse or into a chorus. But at some point in pretty much every song that we've recorded together, there's a point you'll hear where we'll break off of our kind of riffing together sound. Now, it's not conscious where we break off and go on, do our own thing in the song, or even sort of the controlled chaos of a lot of ends of a lot of songs, like Paradise City, where it's just sort of this controlled, barely controlled, just chaos. And you'll hear mistakes in there, and we kept them, and just because it was us playing, and we never like strove to be perfect. I think that's kind of boring. You know, you want to hear how somebody plays and really kind of what feelings they're emoting at that point. And now that I've said that, if you go listen to anything that Slash and I have played on, you'll hear some of the things that I just said and that I'll be talking about.